Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does!
And that might be the knockout punch.
All right, greetings and salutations. Another episode of Fangs Up, and it's called a delayed reaction for a reason. Let me see. Hold up. You can wait and see. There we go. It's a delayed reaction. Normally, instant reaction is like right after the game happens. You talk about it. You see what it was. It's delayed, and it's delayed partially because with a sport like baseball, I want to allow myself a good 30, 40 minutes just to kind of come down, because otherwise it's just not going to be what I want it to be, just as a fan. And it took a moment to process. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, as I stated yesterday, I expect this game to go one of two ways. Either it was going to be an abject failure or it's going to be a success. It was a success, but it was my least favorite kind of victory, a Pyrrhic victory. If you're not familiar with that is, a Pyrrhic victory is, and we do this a lot, just in general, we as people, we fought hard, but we lost. In results, you lost. But I will say this, as a fan, I had some pride in that one. Like, that was a good fight. FAMU opens the game up against the University of Connecticut, also known as UConn. And we were winning at the beginning of the game. Had our ace pitcher out there, but you could tell he might have been a little tired. But he gave his best effort. And for me, that's really all I can ask for. All I can ask you is for your best. He never laid down, he never quit. And a couple times, there were some fielding errors that cost him. So again, this is the delayed reaction to FAMU's NCAA tournament outcome. And tomorrow, 8:30, HBCU Digital Network. We'll be back here, but just a short. Y'all already know the show's normally 30 minutes. Delayed reaction is going to be about that long too. It was a good season. And if you didn't start out the day like I did, watching the National Alumni Association convention, you missed something. And I'm not going to hit you with the stereotypical church talk. And I'll be in the Lord's house tomorrow. I was talking to wifey. I said, "Baby, you going here? Like we missed church last week. I want to go this week." Like we were digital church. We're virtual church, but I want to be in person this week. And it just, you get that feeling. You feel good when you're amongst the presence of the Lord. And I have a good feeling after this season because we did some things that a lot of us thought we could do. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I'm not jumping on a bandwagon. I've been there all day. I was here last season. I started off the season saying this FAMU team could win the SWAC. We won it. Granted, we didn't win the regular season. The postseason is what we got, though. And I'll take that. That's a SWAC championship. That being stated, we fell short against two top 10 teams. And UConn is what baseball fans know they were. That was a team that can hit. Most Northeastern teams, most teams up north, they tend to have really good bats. And as I told y'all, go back and listen to the sports broadcast. I can see it. Again, I played baseball growing up as a kid. I played every sport except for basketball. Like, I played basketball with my friends, but organized, it was football, baseball, track. You can tell when someone's not used to the speed. And our players said in the UF game, they weren't used to that heat, the 98, the 96 mile per hour pitches. It was new, it was foreign. The SWAC, you don't get that a lot, if ever. And UConn even had a guy that was dealing at 92. But by the UConn game, we're used to it. I'm going to say this, and it's going to fly in the face of my constant desire to want to be at least a 500 team. Give us more of those teams. I see it. The batters, I see it more so than the pitchers. But those batters, once those bats woke up, it was different. And we challenged UF. Now at UConn, some of those wounds are self-inflicted. If you take away the self-inflicted wounds in the UConn game, you might have won that game. And we had a couple errors that were very costly. Not base running, but aggressive base running had a place in this game as well. We had a nice double off of it today. I just felt like after today's game, FAMU got something that the boosters wanted. And going back to the happenings of this morning, the National Alumni Association that I previously mentioned, what you got from that was FAMU people saying, do you like winning? Do you want to keep winning? Then we need to support athletics. I think athletics hit about $100,000 today. I know there's a check for 50, there's a check for 25, and a couple of, some other checks that was in there. But I can tell you, FAMU clears $75,000 just for athletics. And the tennis courts alone, earmarked for the tennis courts, probably about 10, getting the tennis courts redone. I'm going to first guess this. Well, I'm not going to guess it. It's not first guessing. I'm stating this. One of our questions was, hey, we see she's good on compliance. What's this fundraiser going to look like? Okay. Look, I see you, AD Sykes. You're doing your thing. And if we want to see baseball keep winning, we're going to have to support. You heard during the National Alumni Association meeting, such and such earmarked for non-revenue producing sports. Baseball don't produce revenue. Softball, not revenue producing. We only really have 2 revenue producing sports. 3. Football, basketball. And it's only 3 because you have men's basketball and women's basketball. Otherwise, the other sports don't produce revenue. It kind of sucks to admit that, but it is what it is. So you were able to see, though, new bats. All of a sudden, we're breaking home run records. Not us over here having hand-me-downs or anything like that. And go check out those FAMU baseball gloves. Those things are not shabby. Those are nice gloves. They have a FAMU stitching on them, like a nice Rattler on them, orange one and a green one. Like, you're starting to see. Like, my shirt ain't ironed. Otherwise, I'd have it up there. But I'd have my Kofi shirt ready. Let's do more with more. Because that is the embodiment of what he was talking about. When you start having better facilities and you start winning, then it starts to kind of build upon itself. And we saw where when you're winning, people want to give. I was there, I was watching it, and I was like, man, I don't get paid for a few more days. But look, when I get mine, fam, you're going to get something. And it was the excitement. Part of it was watching fellow FAMUans give, but it's also looking over and saying, that's a SWAC championship. That's a SWAC championship. That's a SWAC championship. That's a SWAC championship. That's a SWAC champion. Oh, okay. 5 SWAC championships. Let's go. And an HBCU national title. Now, granted, don't jump on me. Leave me alone. Don't get mad at me for saying that. That's not something I claimed. That is something that if you go on the Twitter Spaces, one of the individuals that covers HBCU baseball listed FAMU as the HBCU national champions for the large schools. I believe it was like Benedict's or somebody like that for the smaller schools. I could be wrong. But again, that's not me. That's not a Rattler claiming a championship. That is somebody else that named us the champions. And I'm just stating that they claimed it. FAMU has not claimed any type of championships. So don't start that. Don't start that talk with me today. You know who you are. But that's what we're seeing. Like this just had in this tournament has excited and energized the fan base. You got FAMU fans that are excited about the baseball program. And all of a sudden, now we're over there looking and saying, yo, some of y'all got a taste of that those facilities at UF. And we're like, this ain't more kiddos don't look nothing like this. What if we could do some of this at more kiddos? Not all of it. You can't afford all that. But what if you could do some of that? And I think that's the next phase. The next phase of FAMU athletics is, especially in the realm of baseball, is producing a baseball atmosphere and baseball facilities that are going to draw future coaches, providing our baseball coaches with the supplies and the funding so that they can have a more plentiful staff, improve more kiddos where it's a turf field. We got a new scoreboard. Like let's as much as we talk greasy about the baseball park, it's got a new scoreboard. You actually have an area where the players can dress out and change clothes. That wasn't a thing for a very long time, but we're able to see these small investments in a savvy baseball, almost at football, a savvy baseball coach who has experience, especially in pitching, gets you into the NCAA tournament, and not just in the tournament, but in a position where you're competing. Like a lot of this Rattler pride that you're seeing is not for the participation trophy. Like, and one thing I give Scotty off script some credit, and he said it in the spaces yesterday, and he said it on his Twitter page today. Like, yo, if you're not watching this FAMU baseball game, you're stupid. This game's exciting. It was like that's it. That's part of it. It's a different vibe. You had the DJ at UF, and shout out to the UF DJ. Like, I'm not gonna lie. The only reason I have any disdain for UF is because I just get tired of losing to them and the agriculture stuff. But as far as like, it's not a rivalry. And you saw like, yo, FAMU the home run, they're playing SOS, they're playing the Marching 100 music. Like, there was some support from the folks that were at UF that were actually trying to provide an atmosphere, provide a vibe, give us a little FAMU friendliness in this. And it helped. Just watching it, it was a watchable product. And I think that's something where you saw that. Like, you saw that HBCU atmosphere kick in. And you saw the player doing the what's the Antonio Brown? There we go. It slipped me. The Antonio Brown celebration. And you're like, this is fun. This is what baseball is. When baseball is fun, this is what it looks like. And we saw that. And as a fan, that was what the pride was for me. The players were having fun and we were competitive. One of the things that we were talking about, and when people are saying, some of the successes of the football program, you're going to bring up the Southeastern Louisiana football game. Okay, that's cool. We weren't competitive. But in this game and against UF, FAMU was competitive. We almost beat the Gators. And I don't even want to put that there, but we were close. I'll give us that. But part of the reason you're seeing the Rattler pride is not an effing participation trophy. It's not that. It's we were competitive. Participation is like, oh, we got there, kind of how we do with the NCAA tournament. Like, oh, hey, we made the field 64. We're good. No, we made the field 64 and we made people sweat. Like, I'm sorry. We had to keep sweat going. Like, girl, I bet I could make you sweat. FAMU was on that. And you go back and listen to the post game interview, and shout out to ONG Strike Zone. I shared that one on Facebook because they shared it, and you get to hear Gerald from the Democrat, Allison Posey, I believe. I believe my boy too, but you get to see like Ryan Kelly. Sorry, I believe all of them were there, but I believe you get to hear all of them ask questions, and at the end you hear Coach Shoop say, "Yeah, I'm only losing like 4 guys." And it's like, whoa, wait. And granted, you lost your ace pitcher, but you got some solid stuff coming back. And you got a solid recruiting like Blake Pacheco coming in, just hitting 91, 92. Oh, yeah, I mean, we saw your film, buddy. Just because I didn't make it up there, ain't because, lack of trying. It's just, stuff happened. We still watching though, FAMU fans, we're fans, especially me. And it was crap, we got an arm coming and we might get some more. Just don't be surprised. FAMU does have that connection to TCC right there. And if you can get a few more guys coming in, especially 1-2 more arms, you might stand a very good chance of making another run to the postseason. And I firmly expect FAMU to compete in the SWAC again for the baseball championship. Again, I didn't sit up there and tell you we would win. I said we compete last year. And I said this season I expected to compete. I got what I expected and more. I really did not think we were going to give the Gators that kind of work. We pushed them, and we really could have beaten Connecticut. If you're disappointed as a FAMUan, it's fair. We lost. But if you're rational and if you're honest with yourself, we have come so far in a decade as a program. A lot of the Jamie Shoup haters, I understand. I get why you're mad. I want to win those midweek games too. I'll say this. I think this is why. I think this is explaining his philosophy of midweek regular season games. I'll lose those so that I can make the postseason tournament. Because if I can win the SWAC, if I can win the SWAC tournament, which is all that matters, and then I can make decisions from there. And I think that's the difference. Again, hindsight's 2020, but then the other side of that is seeing someone's plan and seeing it come to fruition. And I'll give Jamie Shoup his credit. And y'all know I don't ride Coach Shoup too hard. Like I'm not one of them. I criticize when it's fair, but I'm on the other side of it. I'm not gonna beat you up if I'm not gonna celebrate you. This can't be a one-sided thing with me. And I treat anyone like that. If I'm not gonna say anything nice to you, I'm probably not gonna say anything bad either. But if I say something bad, I'm gonna try and bring something nice with it. That base running error in the 9th inning yesterday, that was terrible. But as I mentioned, it was aggression that got you there, but it was aggression that got you out. Today, aggression got you there. Like aggression got you runs. And if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. But that being stated, had FAMU had runners on the bases when we hit some of those home runs, it's a different game. Additionally, if we have a little bit better fielding, if our second baseman doesn't get cleated, and I think he got spiked. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was purposeful because I edited myself. I did. I caught myself. That's less than honorable to say that someone willingly and purposely cleated someone. Hey, Miss Williams. But what I will say is this. That was one of our best fielders that got injured. And if you're not over there looking at that work that FAMU did fielding for the whole game, I mean, there were some web gems, like both sides, but especially FAMU, man, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. There should be a couple like replays from that game that you were looking at like, yo, this could be on ESPN or MLB Network. Like some guys opened some eyes today. I'm not saying they're all going to make the majors. I'm not going to say that. I will say, fielding wise, they got themselves some looks. They might play minor league ball somewhere, summer league, but all of a sudden, we have a legitimate baseball program again. FAMU's got a MEAC championship and a SWAC championship. That's pretty awesome. Within like a 3-year period, and the MEAC no longer has baseball. I think that honestly, if you're a former MEAC school, that's your way into the SWAC. I'll leave that alone. Leave that conversation for another day. But I will say is this: FAMU just went to the NCAA tournament, and we put on a show. Name the last SWAC team that was truly competitive in the regionals. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm going to open that up as a question. If you have the answer, drop that on the FQ FAMU or Fangs Up podcast page. Let me know. But who was that? Will we be favorites as SWAC champs next year? All right. I put my hat over there. Good. No. I'm a rational fan. I appreciate that, Dwayne. I think Alabama State's your odds-on favorite. If I'm being rational. Now, I think you got a target on your back because you are the champions for the postseason. But if I'm saying all things being honest, I think Alabama State is still the team to beat. I think, fam, you got hot at the right time. And our biggest fear as a fan, as baseball fans, we're going to keep this in spectrum of baseball fans. It didn't happen until the game against UConn, where pitching kind of gets away from us. Otherwise, we only have one blow up, and that's against Alabama State, that first game. Otherwise, FAMU's pitching was solid. I mean, one of those games in the tournament, we won 1-0. The other game against Cookman, I don't even care what the score was anymore. We beat Cookman and we won a championship. Like, I'm petty that way. But when it came to the UF game, 3-0 with your number 2 pitcher, and then you bring in your middle reliever, and your middle reliever, FAMU's middle reliever, look, he ain't throwing gas, but the movement he gets on those pitches, I mean, that curveball and that slider, it starts on one side and it ends up on the other. Like, that's some video game stuff. Like, I'm sorry, that's MLB The Show type stuff. You're able to see that what Jamie Shoup is teaching works. And the results on the field, they ended up turning into revenue today. Again, go back and watch the National Alumni Association event in Chicago they had today. You had Rattlers that was cutting checks and that was saying, hey, we talked to AD Sykes. She's saying this, that, and the third, 250 this way, 1,000 this way, 25,000, 3,000. And I mean, we saw where, the good ladies from Delta Sigma Theta, I believe they gave 25,000 to the football program. You had another group give 50. Well, you saw where other folks were cutting checks and saying, this is for non-revenue. And if we continue this, especially as an alumni base, as far as giving and having that focus be on those forms of athletics. I'm not saying don't give to the SOS and all that. No. Give that. Give to the Saving Our Students. Give to the FAMU Foundation. But when we're giving, let's not forget athletics, because that is the front porch. When you're winning, when your athletic programs are doing better, your enrollment goes up. University of Alabama learned that a long time ago. And talk to any Alabama recruiter, and they'll tell you their enrollment before Nick Saban and their enrollment after Nick Saban is two different things. And when they win national championships, the applications go up. And one thing about applications, they cost money. I think this is something that FAMU can continue to parlay into building something else, because I can't tell you that FAMU has a men's team that's never won the SWAC. Nope. We have that now. But we also have a new floor. Before, the floor for FAMU was being average baseball wise, and the ceiling was to win the SWAC. Now, the floor is to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the SWAC, and the ceiling is to win an NCAA tournament game. And that's something that Coach Shoup has stated that he wants. That's a goal now. I think it was a goal before, but it's an attainable goal because now we've seen it. And there's one thing that you can't do to something that you showed me. You can't take that away. Some things I can't do. I'm good on the computers, but some things like animation, I can't do. Now, cooking wise, yeah. I'm nice when it comes to cooking, especially ribs. Why? My uncle showed me. My dad showed me. I had friends who kind of taught me stuff. Some of their dads, give you some tips and tricks. All of a sudden, you can't take that from me because I've seen it. And now as a FAMU fan and a FAMU supporter, I've seen us go and compete against the best teams in the nation, the second best team in the nation, and give them a fight. And all of a sudden, now I'm saying, if we give a little bit more, maybe this is something that's consistent and that's attainable. And so my delayed reaction, and the reason why it was delayed and not instant, because unlike football, with football, I can give you a good instant reaction because the emotions are there, but you get to move on from the next play to play. Baseball is so long that you kind of bottle it up, and you kind of got to come down a little bit for that. It's a lot longer high as far as just watching the game, especially when it's competitive. And this is a competitive game. My delayed reaction to this is FAMU may have just become a program to keep your eye on. And with an athletic director that is wanting to invest in this program, you may have an athletic program that's going to be the next to become that consistent power in its conference. Similar to what we saw with Texas Southern. When Texas Southern had their run, Texas Southern was running through the SWAC. Like basketball-wise, you weren't stopping them. And for quite a while, Southern baseball and recently Alabama State have been running through the SWAC. I'm not saying FAMU is going to run through the SWAC next year. What I'm saying, though, anything less than the SWAC tournament is a failure because now we won it. And not only did we win it, we went against the best teams in the nation and we gave them a fight. We weren't up there playing this, hey, we're glad to be here stuff. Nope. We gave them a fight and we had some home runs and we had some pitches that were nasty. Like FAMU's not throwing gas, but what we are throwing is deception. And those are some deceptive pitches. So, but delayed reaction, season's over for FAMU baseball. A little disappointing, but if you're a Rattler, you're proud of it. You're excited. And if you want to rewatch it, it's on ESPN for Letter Network. Check. I probably shouldn't have said that. But if you're a Rattler, real Rattler, you're able to look back at this season and see that we did some solid things. So, man, but I told y'all I wasn't going to hold y'all too long. We're going to do this again tomorrow, though. Tomorrow, we're going to look at some of these recruits, who these Rattlers recruiting. We just had the Willie Simmons football camp. I wasn't able to make it. Told you I was on daddy duty, man. I don't be playing. When it comes to me and the kiddos, my man's is in the other room getting his game on, making my famous wings. Wifey requested wings, so we're gonna have like some hot wings and jerk wings. No games played today, man. It's going down in the Hadley house. But as always, sorry, big shout out to HBCU Digital Network. This is home. Shout out Herb Seward and the Black Techies. Also, if you're in the Atlanta area, shameless plug, check out Result Only Fitness, new company up there. Sam Phillips, a FAMU graduate, is creating a fitness company. He's also an ex-military man. Brother is dedicated. He is also I don't know if he's currently active or not, but he's a fitness model. Go check him out, man. Results Only Fitness. Go check him out. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check the brother out, man. He's showing you as they create the gym. Watch him from the beginning all the way to his fruition as he creates his gym and brings it to life. So big shout out, Sam. And as always, y'all know it's going to be Fangs up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.